If you put these things in place before you start investing in the stock market, you will never lose money in the stock market. If you are new here, my name is Uthman, and I talk about personal finance and investing and document my journey on this channel. So the first thing to put in place before you start your investing in the stock market is your mindset. If you put a great mindset in place and you have a good mindset, which means you have a long-term mindset as regard the stock market, you will never lose money. It has been proven over the years that only the people that have long-term mindset survives in the stock market. If you don't have long-term mindset, you'll be the one to time the market, and know that timing the market is not as great as time in the market. The longer you stay in the game, the more your chance of being successful. There's been a lot of things that has happened in the market over the years. The Great Depression, the 2008 crash, COVID crash, a lot of things has happened. There will be a lot of volatility in this game, but only those that have the right mindset are going to be the one that can stomach all this volatility and stay. It has been proven that people that are invested consistently for the long term, at the end of the day, are successful. But those that are invested with a small horizon of time, they tend to lose money on the long run. If you want to be successful in this game, have a long-term mindset. Multiple examples are out there. Look at Warren Buffett. Morgan Housel said something in his one of his podcasts I watched. He mentioned that Warren Buffett's net worth really started to take effect when he get to 60 years of age. That's when his net worth went boom. That if he had stopped investing by the time that he's 60, no one would have known him. He's still going to be a billionaire, but no one will have known him as we know him today. And this is someone that has been investing since 11 years old. And look at what he has built today. So long-term mindset wins in this game. The next thing you should have before you start investing in the stock market, financial literacy. You need to equip yourself with knowledge of how the stock market works. If you don't know how it works, how are you going to invest and be profitable inside it? This is the people you see that they will see people posting something on the internet and they will invest in it. It has happened to me before. When I first started my investing journey back in 2021, I started in cryptocurrency and I didn't know anything about it. Some random guy just posting some things about a coin called Luna, and I invested in it. I lost all the money I invested in that investment. So financial knowledge and financial literacy is very essential. And thank God for today. You can get all these things from books and podcasts. If you have access to internet, you don't have any reason not to be financially literate. YouTube is there, podcasts are there, books are there that you can read to increase your knowledge. Recommendations are like The Psychology of Money, I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi, The Richest Man in Babylon, Rich Dad Poor Dad as well, Atomic Habits, Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. So those are books that you can read that are going to increase your knowledge about how this thing works. So the next thing that you should put in place before you start your investing journey is having an emergency fund. I know having an emergency fund is very critical to this journey. Even if it's as low as £1,000 for the first, and then you start adding to it until you have at least 3 to 6 months of your living expenses aside. This is very important in this journey. If you have an emergency fund, it's going to do these things for you. First off, when any emergency happens, and it's a matter of when, not if, it's going to happen. We are going to see an unforeseen circumstances that are going to happen to us. This emergency fund will serve as a cushion for you to tackle whatever happens, at least to some extent. Now, another thing that this is going to do for you is that when emergency happens, let's say the stock market is on the downside at that time, because the market is volatile. If the stock market is down at that time, your emergency fund is going to protect you from selling your asset at a loss. But if you don't have an emergency fund, you're going to sell your asset at a loss and you are going to lose all the money you invested. So that is the importance of emergency fund. It also gives you peace of mind. The fact that you know that you have something to rely on the side gives you a lot of peace of mind. If you lose your job today, you know that there's something to fall back on before you get back on your feet again. So emergency fund is very important in this game. You need to have one. Start by accumulating one. You don't need to put 3 to 6 months of living expenses aside at once. You can start putting £100 there, £200 there, on a monthly basis. Before you know it, you accumulate something. So that is another thing that you need to put in place. Another thing that you need to put in place if you know that you want to win in this game of stock market is sorting out your debt, especially your consumer debt. This debt, they have a lot of interest on. As a matter of fact, people should actually avoid consumer debt. I mean, debts like buy now, pay later, credit card debt. The interest rates on these things are ridiculous. People should avoid them. But let's say you have one, then you need to curate a plan on how you're going to settle this debt. Because if you have a lot of debt on you and you are investing, then that's like two things at the same time. But if you have a plan that this is how I'm going to settle this debt, have a set amount that you'll be paying towards that debt to settle it off, and then you can be investing on the other side as well. But if you don't plan on settling your debt and you are investing, it's like counterintuitive. So you need to balance things like that. You will be successful in the stock market. So guys, those are the 4 things I can think of now that if you put them in place before you start investing in the stock market, your chance of being successful is very high. Have a long-term mindset, guys. Don't treat the stock market as a get-rich-quick scheme. If you do, you are certainly going to lose your money.